Rosa? I don't know if that's
Anna Marie, would you like to do a singing bowl or?
Sure.
Cute.
Hello, back. Milo is joining.
Hi, Milo.
Okay, I'll do it 3 times, and then we can do a creating our circle around the world, bridging continents, known we are connected to the other continents whilst they're sleeping, resting, or very busy with all kinds of stuff. And we're here, holding the space. Sorry. I'll start again. Cool. Bringing the bowl from Vreeland in the Netherlands.
I'm Hasina checking in from Newcastle, South Africa, and just feeling kind of spacious this morning. I'm not a follower subscribing to organized religion, but it's Eid today, and our family is just going to sort of rest and have a nice meal and so on. So after this, that's what's happening. So just in a space of just being and gratitude to be with you all. Thank you. And looking forward to Annalise's process.
I'm Kamala, checking in from Kefalonia in Greece. Eid Mubarak, Hasina. And yeah, interesting. In the Hindu faith, Navaratri started yesterday, which is the 9 days of celebration of the goddess. So love all these little synchronicities. Yeah, I'm feeling just grateful to be in circle with all of you again and share the beautiful energy that keeps me focused when I'm grounded in other ways, and you guys give my spirit the space to soar while my feet stay grounded.
This is Anya checking in from my beautiful garden. And it's very noisy here because in the background there is somebody working very hard with machines and everything. So I will have to step out, but I sent you the energy of the trees this morning from a beautiful, yeah, you can still hear the birds. So a little bit of birdie spirit, and totally blessed to be with you here, but I have to step out. I just leave silent in a few minutes, but I want to spot that I encourage us to meet in person very soon, someday, really travel together and be with it. I'm walking with that really since a long time. And as we had the new moon ceremony last weekend, it became very clear that that I love to step up with you and be in ceremony together. I'm just with that in that morning.
Mhm.
Juliet calling in from Cork, Ireland, and feeling my mind filled with joy, my heart with unconditional love, and my body vibrant, and so happy to be with all of you in community. Thank you.
Amelie checking in from Amsterdam. I am in a special tenderness feeling today. Very tender and delicate around me. And surround you all.
It's Rosa checking in from Brittany, France. Just very happy to be here again. I wasn't here last week and I missed it. Although I'm a newcomer, I really feel the difference when I'm here during, kind of for the session in the week. It really fills me up for the rest of it. So thank you for that. Thank you all for that. I'm very happy to be here.
Annelies, checking in from Vrijland. Yeah, subtle delicacy. Yummy, honey, gold frequency. Curious, also curiosity. And also bring some of my fear to the fire, probably. Looking forward to create with you a soilless garden around reaching Europe, in which, well, I will hold and maybe facilitate a little process around that, with the purpose to bring something to the ground, whatever wants to be brought to the ground, so that we can have a pivotal point which we can refer to and also hold. And we work closely together with the universe, of course. We won't have to do anything for that because it works through us, bringing us pure love. But we will co-create with nature. So I'm checking in now, and then I love to share with you a little bit more. And bringing my fear, I just want to say that this process is really about delicacy and also about being open to what wants to emerge through us and do that in co-creation as a community. And my fear is that I'm starting to become someone in kind of overdrive. And so it would really help me to say that I'm in the middle of holding just enough boundaries so that we all get what it's about and not being in control. So, because that's my fear, being in control about things I cannot be in control of. So thank you for listening, and I want to end with something which I found very, very beautiful, what came on my way. And that is that I'd like to say to you all, I see you. I see your light. And you can respond by saying, if you like to, I'm here.
I'm here.
I am here.
I am here and I see your light.
Here and I see you. And you're in the midst of my screen.
I'm here and I lighted the fire already yesterday. And I see your light all over.
I'm here and I see your light. All of you.
Anyone who wants to say something more about being here?
Yeah, I can check in. I can check in. Yes, happy to see you. And I indeed see kind of us lighting up a lot today, this morning, more than I notice usually, I would say. I was offered an affirmation. You're not hearing me? Oh, sorry.
It's just a little bit softer than usual, Anna Marie.
Okay, let me see. Is it better like this?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, I'll sit up straight. What's the better for me? Kind of like, oh, a wee bit tired. Yes, wee bit tired. But I was offered an affirmation. Can I be love when the world is loveless? Or in places where the world is loveless. In Dutch, waar can be where the world is loveless and as the world is loveless. So it has two meanings, which I really feel as part of what I practice as a, yeah. So, and I feel that this bridging continents, bridging, strengthening Europe is, I mean, I was told in Palenque how important it is. It was affirmed when Karin Lindemann from Four Worlds Europe came here and we lit the fire together where I added the ashes from Mexico to my fireplace, and then she added some of the ashes that she carries with her, and then we mix that, and then we have that. And I have that here for you as well, ready to offer. And Annelies was there when Annelies was there when we did that process. Yes, and I'd done that before also with my husband. So the fire, practicing that, and this Sunday, Uncle. Anya, help me say his name properly. Angangak. Is that how I say it?
Angangak. Yeah.
Angangak is going to be here in the Netherlands and the organizers of that event have asked me to support him and be with him whilst we're working with the fire. So, I'm suddenly into this space. So coming together around the fire, as you were again sharing the importance of that, Anya, I really can feel that that's part of what we're here to do, and I'm letting it totally open, leaving it open, but also curious, Annalise, how we are going to be opening up the soilless garden. So gratitude for that process. Check.
Just feeling I need some clarity on what you leave open, because if we bring something to the ground now, there is a grounding. So what is the open? What is what you leave open? Yeah,
And
Oh,
that we can work with that also.
just not trying to control, like you said.
Aha.
I have this image. I had this image also last week, the week before that, when a lot of you were mentioning the threads that you hold within Europe, like Amélie, with so many years of gathering and being together, and others of us as well doing that. So I was just seeing all these souls coming to that fire in Europe to strengthen Europe. I got that image, but I also just want to let it go, just open to see what wants to arise, what's the first things that happen. I'm really open to that, and I just feel that power of that we have. And I also spoke with Annette Kaiser of Co-Creating Europe, that some of you might still remember. That's in that spirit these calls started in 2020, I think. And she's organizing an event in July 2025 in the villa, where I think also there. And I'm just leaving it open in that sense. I can create all these images. Oh my goodness. They are endless, endless and beautiful. I'm here.
Yes, it's so beautiful. And this is why this might be a pivotal point, bringing it just to the ground.
Exactly. Totally.
And yes, so this is why I wanted to know what you meant. So we have the utmost clarity around that, and also being able to really start this fire, because this is what we learned from Palenque, how important it was that the fire was burning and taken care of, and that's also what we hold together. So I like to give some little background so that you know where we are going into, and then
I'm sorry, do we need something to write with?
yes, it's
Okay.
lovely to have some paper, and also lovely to have a pen. And normally we would work together in a program that's called Jamboard, but Jamboard is going to stop, and so I'm looking into Miro now, but for the moment, and I would really like it if you can give your answers on some questions that will come along in the chat, so that we still have everything. But if there is anything what wants to come true to you, or if you want to write for yourself. So just to give some little background, and then I presume we have half an hour to work around this, and then we can finish. I work with a process that's called soilless gardens. And a soilless garden you can see as a garden without soil. We have our gardens in our backyard, and we take care of that. We can see a lot of in there. We try to plan something, but we cannot plan it properly because we're human. We have to work together. We can work together with nature in that, the spirits, the nature guides, and we also work together with the universe. And then we can ask what are the proper steps for us to take. This is a way of working which is coming from Michaela Small Wright. She started working with Source, with her higher being, of course, also her source connection. And she got all these messages, and she started a garden, and she called that Perilandra. And with all the nature spirits and divas, with Pan, the god of nature, and with the White Brotherhood as a intelligence from the universe, from the cosmos. She started creating a garden which has had more frequencies than she could ever believe. As in Vindhorn, everything was growing big. Everything was going in a beautiful way. It got its most refined geometries, and sometimes it went totally wrong, but then there was also information in that. But she worked together with, we now call the intelligence of nature, and we now call the cosmic energies. So, and we work together with our own higher self. So soon I will open what we call a Taurus, a koning. And maybe, Annemarie, you can, if you just stop your video for a moment, and I can show everyone, because this image, what you hold from the Hague Center, is exactly showing what we are going into. You see this, if you twist it one little to the right, and you see that there is a energy flow going in from the top, and also through Earth, but it's about this Taurus, what you see, and we are in the middle. We are nature as well. We are part of that. And if you twist it one little bit, then you can see you can go to the cosmos. We are in the middle of that, and we can work with the energy of nature, and that's what we are going to do. So we're going to open this kind of a koning. That's what it's called. Thank you, Annemarie. It's yeah, and it's not to twist your image, but it's more making it more clear that we work from this kind of evolution, which is coming from the cosmic side, and involution. And we are essential. And why are we essential? Because our will brings it into existence. So this is good to know. And this is why it's important to bring something to the ground. It's also important that we know that we do not work with the cosmic energy that we think we can change that. No. So we're humble in that. So if we open this koning just now, we will open it for Soilless Garden with a name, and it's a working name, and the working name is Bridging Europe. And then we will go into 3 questions. What could be the definition of this bridging continents in a Europe way? So if we do that for Europe, what comes up to you? What do you see is could give words to the definition? It's the first D. And then we seek for a direction, and a direction you could see as something like you want to go from A to B. It's good.
Can I say something? If you make this first question, for my energy, it's good that in that question I go in. And
Yes, yes, I
and
will.
then you go on with next questions. I go out.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I just want to frame now, and then we go into the questions. Okay, it's a little frame because I want to frame what we're going to do, and then I start with the process. Okay, and we're not in the process yet, so it's also not that you are now in yourself doing that. We're doing that in the koning, and I haven't opened the koning yet. This is really important. And I know that there will be a lot going through you. That's all fine, and we receive that. But we're working this koning.
I understand. I was already in.
Okay, great. Yes, and we're not all that quick. It's okay, but you cannot be in yourself. And we were in this group. It's important that we hold the community. So thank you, thank you, Amélie. It's this is also the part which makes it for us together working in this soilless garden. Okay, just framing. I try to use as less words as I can, but I need you to know a little bit because otherwise we go all the way. So the second question is about the direction. How do we come from A to B? And it's like, are we using the train or are we using the? You can see it like in what time would we like to bring something into existence, and it will come through us probably. So we do not have to know that all at once. And the last question is the P, and it's the purpose. What for? What is it what we are doing this for? So it's more like it's not a result or a goal, but it's more like what is it what we see, what wants to come in in uh, in the benefit of all. So and this brings me to the first question, and this is important to phrase, and that's the call. What are we called to? And Annemarie, I would really love to ask you at first, and then I open the koning, and then I ask these questions again. And whatever words come up through you, that's wonderful. And I like to invite you to use new words. And every word which is strange, word you think, oh, what's this about? It's just fine. This is what we really welcome because we want to find also some kind of new language. Okay. Yeah. So the first question is, Annemarie, what's the call? Is there anyone who likes to scribe a little bit with me for me?
Do we also, do you want to use Otter or something like that? Or
Oh
just
yes, that's good. Yes,
we record? I mean, we could put on the AI, but I don't know if you want that.
yes, that's good. That's a good idea. Thank you so much.
And then also, of course, we can always put the recording into Otter, and then we can get a detail. I mean, yeah, you'll have to. It's not perfect description, but it does give some kind of.
Yeah, that might be good to have as an extra holding. That gives us more ease to, yeah. Okay, thank you so
Up
much.
till now, with the AI that Zoom offers, I see others having great results. I don't really get very good results, so I don't know if that's because of me or somebody else. So I don't know if you can also if you also have that AI companion and samenvatting below in the Zoom. Do you have that on your page? I don't know, because I'm of course always a co-host or a host. Do you have that capacity to do that?
Yes, I well, it's on now, so.
We had a very interesting conversation another day, and then I asked AI to do something, and it said nothing interested was discussed.
Well, it's good to know that AI sometimes also have difficulty with the way we speak our English. Oh, it does really strange things with that.
Someone does it in Dutch, indeed. I don't know how to get it. Well, anyway, yeah. So maybe when you do it, Hasina, you get it in English. I don't know. I somehow it brings it to Dutch.
Well, you want me to also
Yeah.
do it?
Also, the AI
Okay.
companion.
Okay.
What do you
I've
get?
never done this before, believe it or not. Okay. What do I do? It just says welcome to AI companion.
Yes, and then that's sort of, so then you can once in a while ask it to give you a little summary, and then there's also the other one, the thing giving you a, I don't know the English word for that.
Oh, okay.
Just try it.
So,
Okay.
But anyway, I have an Otter account, so I can put the recording in that.
okay.
So the
So
call.
the question is, before we open the koning and before we we start working for our soilless garden, and this soilless garden being Europe, what's the goal? And you named it a little bit already, but maybe you can give some more words to that.
So the name and the vision, the sense, I don't always get visions. I'm getting it more, but I usually get a sense, a feeling, a sense of bridging continents came up in response to the invitation of Chief Phil Lane to support the prophecy and to play a role in that. And it felt kind of like overwhelming. I had no idea what he was actually asking. But what I did see was that he and the prophecy is all in the Americas, and I'm here in Vreeland, in different continents. and we were also in that time looking at the co-creating Europe, and also in with the caravan of unity, in which I also sensed that what they were doing in the Americas didn't fit Europe. So Europe wants something else. And in many places, I was sensing that Europe has its own unique contribution to make. And I am in Europe, and I don't feel only European. I feel global. I feel, I can reach out to all these places because, of course, also that's been part of my upbringing. So bridging continents, playing that role was something I could understand. I couldn't understand doing ceremony, creating something specific, but if I would just hold the space for bridging continents, then I felt my system relax, even though it's still huge, because he was speaking about 4 continents, and then we did a constellation, and then all continents said, hey, hello, we want to join. So it became even more, and I thought, yes, of course, of course. And whenever I got overwhelmed or started to doubt or whatever, I just asked myself, can I connect? Do I have connections already with which continents? Where have I either been, or can I make, and I can nearly everywhere point to somebody in my family system. So then I thought, okay, don't worry. It's not about having the whole continent, but it's about connecting, and in that way creating a bridge that others can follow. And another moment when I really got overwhelmed about it, I had this meditation, and there was this kind of like a tender smile, a tender laugh, kind of like from the continent, saying, hey, if you go deep enough, we're all connected anyway, so no worries, just go deep if you're afraid. So I did this, in a meditation, going down deeply, and I have this meditation form where I am down deep in the earth, and then I look up, and I see the soil and the continents, and then beyond that, the stars and the planets and everything. That's a beautiful meditation. So, I can do that. So I have been playing with that in that way. And that's the call that I feel. and that is then, you know, when I was in the mountains in July with my husband and my oldest daughter, I came into it in a very little town in this jewelry shop because she wanted to buy something. And the first thing she said was, "Oh, Mom, look, that's for you." And that's this little thing. I don't know if I showed it actually to you. And it's the continents in a circle. So it's of course flat, but I thought, okay, another affirmation, just hold space, bridge continents. So that's the call that I feel. And I was very touched because we were first calling this call a different name. And I can remember that I, at a certain point, was sharing and asking with you, how shall we call ourselves actually? And that you all were so interested in that bridging continents process that I was sometimes sharing about, among other things that I was sharing. And that for me, and Hasina, also the way that you were really holding that, and your support for me in that work and everything, that just really touches me. So I feel a lot of love and light and support in this context. I'll stop here. Thank you for asking, Annelies.
I'd just like to deepen it a little bit. So about the part of the overwhelm of the ceremonies from the Americas. So this question was also about, are there any other ceremonies or what is coming from this place from Europe in that sense? Is that correct? Or is that this also came up? Is this part of the call for what we are holding right now for this soulless garden? Could you something about that?
At that moment in time, and I have that more often, the overwhelm had to do also with that I was being asked to lead a ceremony in the Global Fire Ceremony Room and working with Indigenous people, and I not feeling appropriate for me. No practice, no real deep sense, knowledge base, let's say. I'm coming from a Western country that has such a colonizing background, and sensing that we're in a process. Yes, we're doing a little bit of homework as a nation, or maybe we're doing a lot of homework. I don't really know, but anyway, I feel we're not really. We need more awareness around that, and I have that awareness around it. And so you know, when I'm then asked to do certain things where I feel, is that mine to do in these settings? Should I not just be a witness here or an ally? Or so that was in those days, and that still sometimes comes up, but I'm trying to stop asking myself why me, and ask, how do I give form to it? And you know, Hasina once also said to me, hey, stop it, just shut up with speaking like that. It's so there's something around that, knowing our place, let's say. You know, in Co-Creating Europe also, we were speaking about, we have to do something about our colonizing background, and then the Eastern Europe said, and also, you know, with Adrian, I sometimes have that. They said, hey, stop putting that burden on our shoulders. Western Europe did that. We didn't do that. Only part of Europe did that. Let's get this straight. Know your place. So aware of that from the privileged place that I'm in, that sometimes I'm not aware of those kind of things, and to be conscious of it. I don't know if that's an answer to your question, but that comes up for me now.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It really deepens it. I feel, if you feel that too, that this could be our goal. It gives enormous space, knowing our place within bridging continents as Europe.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. Yes. With humbleness and with all the dark and the light. And yeah. And really also experiencing the experience here, the deep work that has been done, the experience here that you all hold. You all hold such beautiful pieces of the puzzle in that sense. For that and for, well, anyway, for my journey, if I can be just selfishly speaking of my journey, and also what we're offering to the world. Yeah.
Beautiful. Is there anything which wants to be said by any of you in this moment contributing to the call? Or
Yes, I would like to speak.
okay, I see Juliet also raised her hand. So can you start, Juliet, and then you continue, Amelie? Okay, thank you. You're muted. Unmute. Yes.
So it just came to me when in this dialogue, like a zap. The first thing that came was a rainbow bridge of light, that the bridge is a rainbow bridge. It's not, and in order to travel or to use a rainbow bridge, you have to be free of all baggage. You have to be light. So part of the process will be enlightening ourselves to be able to cross a rainbow bridge and build rainbow bridges or be part of the process. Lightening from losing all old stories, dropping and releasing all the baggage of old stories, because that burdens us. The second thing was, I suddenly see that the stone and rock elders request to me that started in Greece and then went on into Turkey was they said it was time to transmute all the sludge that the human trauma, sorrow, suffering has left, like a smothering residue all around the earth. And the way to transmute it is, well, there's a kind of process that they worked me through, but that this would then clean up so that all the world could be able to be part of the Rainbow Bridge, because the process is transmuting and releasing all these old stories and baggage that we've been carrying, and that has left the residue, all the beings that have been trapped by this sludge in the ancient ruins, etc. We're now the generation that can clear those, so that all those can now be released and the whole thing can go back into light.
Well, in the start, we had rainbow bridging continents, so that really resonates, and it's beautiful how you bring that words to them. Thank you.
I'm really, I will open up to you just a sec, but I see that we are needing more time to go into the process. So I really love to hear your voices, Camilla, while you were here, and Amelie first. So what can we do? Shall we continue next week with the full process, or shall we do an in-between meeting for the people who are now involved so that we can work on what is best to do? Because we will need half an hour for.
I can go until 12.
You can go on.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to because I promised my family I'd be there, but no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me
Is it
no.
important that
I
I see
cannot stay. I cannot stay longer.
You cannot stay. So I think it's best to find a moment for this, because I would really love to be both Amelie and Asina with us for this also.
Okay.
Can we start next time, Thursday, half an hour earlier?
I will not be there next Thursday. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Um,
But another moment is fine for me tonight.
I
Yes.
can't tonight. I have a meeting.
Sarah McCrum is arriving this afternoon here, so she'll be here. I'm just looking at next week, because after that I'll be with the Wales. Oh, I have an option.
Well, we might just use next
I-
week and
I
make
can stay half an hour longer. I can see now.
I'm fine for you to carry on if you need to carry on. I'm totally fine either way.
Juliet, can you stay for half an hour longer? Okay, well, let's just
Rosa as well. You're important as well in this. Earlier. And are you able to stay, Camilla?
I'm not sure how long for, because I only get 2 days off a week now, and I was planning to go do other things with the afternoon, but I'm sure half an hour wouldn't make too much of a difference to our plans.
Okay, great, great. Okay. And of course, we cannot really make this a rushing thing, but we can be really conscious of time. So, Camilla, is it what you want to share? So I really want to start as soon as possible with the process that Hasina can also.
I just wanted to address one thing that came up for me when Anne-Marie was speaking about the role of Europe. And I appreciate where that comes from with the perspective of being in Freiland and addressing the history of Europe specifically that way. But I think it's also important to acknowledge in that process that when we talk about bridging continents, we were initially, from my understanding, looking at it in terms of functioning as a whole across the time zones. And part of this time zone is also the Middle East and Africa. And when we say Europe, we are perpetuating that process of silencing the Middle East and Africa and holding the focus in Europe. So one of the things that I would like to offer is the concept of a mayor, which is what I've come across recently, to represent Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. Because when we speak of Europe, we exclude not people like Hasina necessarily, and I won't speak for her, because Hasina and I think, assimilate very easily into this culture, but I'm speaking of people like Robert and the people in Angola that are not necessarily as comfortable or as aligned with the European mindset, or as I don't know. There's just a difference for me, and I think it needs to be acknowledged.
Mhm. Thank you. Maybe it's good to say something to that.
I'm sorry, my phone.
Well, that's such an amazing point, and I think it it probably needs a whole a whole moment for discussion. So I'll just sum it up in a sentence saying that I also get that when Anna Marie spoke about the colonization, that there's again, I don't speak for anyone else, there's a feeling in Europe to kind of make it not right. I don't like the word right, but kind of that there's a responsibility, a feeling of responsibility. Not that there should be, not that I'm saying that there's, but I think that's possibly where Europe comes in, that we have been, like, Europe's been the seat of power for whatever actions, and now they get to kind of smooth it into the, the unity thing. And I think so that's the other piece. But I'll stop there and we can, I think that's a great discussion for another time because it really needs that.
Yes, yes. So the beauty can be that it's not either or, it can be and.
Absolutely.
And this is what I feel, this is just a tiny step. So it might be that we start with the call, knowing our place within the bridging continents as Europe, with humbleness and the dark and the light, as opening up one part of this field, which we can expand to the continents, even to EMEA, which I really truly love. But it's also to be able to start with a place where, from a place, um, as a maybe as a prototype, or maybe as a starting point to inquiry into further in, and from all kinds of ways, which next to it can be started, because it's not the idea that this comes into the place of bridging continents. It's an additional holding, and it will evolve. It will emerge from this moment now. But it's not that we bring it here all the time. It can have its own life, as it can have as EMEA, or as Middle East, or as Africa, or as, but it's more like bringing in the consciousness of knowing our place, bringing to the surface these beautiful ceremonies we might have in Africa, Ubuntu, or other ways of doing. So that we can really come also from these origination points where we have our birthrights from, and getting to know that part of it, of us. And it might be that it's really mixed. Of course, we are mixed, but we have to do it with this time in place at this moment now. This is why we are here alive in this time frame. And of course, I feel it's really open to so there's no, there cannot be an othering, or there cannot be an exclusion. No way. And I like to start with Europe. So this is what I feel is the call now, because well, maybe because what you just said, Hasina, and that it's also some kind of a responsibility to know our place. And it's not to be in what sense, to come from a place of superiority, but it's really to break a pattern.
Wow. Beautifully said on this. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, Amelie, can you please say what you wanted to say? Is this okay for you, Carmilla, now, for this moment? Okay, thank you.
Well, I add to these that I met also the prophecy of Phil Lane and Karin, and then we had a meeting once, and I got a very strong feeling that in order to build bridges, and I always in my agenda, by the way, Juliet, make a little rainbow on Thursday morning with the date with 10:30. I always do. But all the colors of a rainbow have to be clear. And I got from this meeting of the prophecy Phil Lane the feeling that it was very important to go back or root myself in the European prophecies and roots and ceremonies. And I went there. So many years I'm now studying on old ceremony and symbols from Vikings, and lots are in England and in Scotland and in Germany, and I met shamans from many of these European countries and also did ceremonies. And of course, there are lots of symbols we have in common because it all has to do with north, south, west, east, and fire and air and light. But the way it is doing is in a way different. And I had also the feeling that in the Americas, of course, lots of European moved there. It's also sort of mixed, but in that ceremonies are also old and new ways. And to do just their ceremonies is also smoothing away something. The smoothing away what you said, Hasina, is really a theme. To get the clearness of the rainbow, we should really face that smoothing away things, not from guilt or old histories, but just in our consciousness. There is yeah, you call it overwhelming, Anne-Marie, but it is a sort of mist things. So it's really about clearing out all these colors of the rainbow and to know which color and where, and being rooted there, you can be open for everything. I feel the same. I was already young making a poem saying, I am on earth, I'm a person who lives on earth. I never felt strongly Netherlands. And then I came across old prophecies, and even, to mention something very horrible, Putin is living from a prophecy. There was an old prophecy said of big Russia, and he lives from that, doing now what he does. And then when Ukraine was in war, I felt very strongly how many people were somehow shaken deep down. So there is something deep down in your roots somewhere when it is your rooted place, as that therefore Camilla also mentioned Africa, and she's the one who mentioned this because it is immediately appealing your roots, and that clearness is so important. If you want to root this, Annelies, this is one of the points for my feeling.
Yes, beautiful. It really adds the clarity, bringing clarity to the rainbow colors from the place of our roots, and feeling that, and also getting to know that. So this is also just saying it's end. I might see that Carmilla will be taking some kind of a lead in bringing this to the ground in Africa. So it will be next to each other. It will be alongside each other. We are holding this space for bringing clarity, and maybe it's the birth of bridging Africa. So I do not know, bridging Middle East. I do not know, but it's just that I want to give voice to this. It's again not about exclusion. It's really, and it's about abundance. It's really about bringing clarity to roots. And that might even go beyond, and then we come back to the continents. But what is it if we look into these continents, each at a time or next to each other, but we take our responsibility, or better said, because I liked the words Anne-Marie said, and then yes, sorry, knowing your place.
No, yes, I just want to check something that I am not seeing bridging continents is Europe in my case. I'm seeing.
No.
Okay. Yeah, it's all, but we are now just focusing on Europe also because we are called to do that, exactly what Emily is saying by Chief Phil Lane, but also Grandmother Eshna and others saying how important it is that Europe connects to its roots in the place of all the continents. So, okay, listen to that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Sina.
Thank you for saying that. I take this in the, yeah.
And I have
I
to
just want-
mention one other thing for Annemarie said, that you can feel everywhere connection, that from past lives, of course, we have been in many other continents.
And this life.
And therefore we have also connections.
Probably. Yes, and we live. We have to clear this now in our aliveness and material. Yeah.
I just want to say something, sorry, just before I go, I just want to say that, you know, I think what it takes is all of us get to heal to our next level, and that's what it is. It's not healing from something, but healing to and stepping forward. And so Europe is perhaps the connection point where we all get to heal, because we all have a connection point there. Even though it's inclusive, but we have that connection point with Europe. So from all sides of it, and I see it mirrors South Africa, just as in South Africa, every cultural race group had this connection point to, you know, whatever healing needed to be done to our next level in 1994. So I kind of see that, and that's how I see the Europe, not as just listening to all that, not as an exclusion, not as a, you know, more important than others, but the connection point where we all get to heal. Okay.
Thank you so much, Camilla. Thank you so much, Hasina.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
So